I've been trying for a long time to think about how I could articulate this, put this into words in a way that makes sense. And I think I've finally figured out how to do it. Okay. Now, a lot of people, a lot of these right-wing conservatives who think that the prophecies in the Bible somehow prove that the Bible is true. I mean, a lot of it's very vague. This whole thing with, in the Gospels, supposedly Jesus saying, there will be earthquakes and floods in one place after another. There will be famines and kingdom will rise against kingdom. And what does that sound like? I mean, Aaron Ross said it really well when he said that, of course, that's happening today. That's what's been going on for the last 2,000 years. But my point, however, is that it's not just, these aren't so much prophecies as they are products of deductive reasoning. The people who lived back then, who wrote or were involved in writing the Bible, they simply extrapolated conclusions for what the future would be like based on their past. Before they wrote the Bible, there were famines, there were earthquakes, there were floods. There were earthquakes in one place after another. Kingdom was rising against kingdom in one place after the other, long before the Bible was written. Therefore, they posited, well, that's probably going to happen in the future too. All these things that you guys say are prophecies, they're vague, they're not impressive, but most importantly, they're not specific. And one could, like I just have been, argue that these prophecies in the Bible are just the products of deductive reasoning. And people, of course, will also say, oh, but they got historical events right. Yeah, probably because they were written after the fact. From what I understand, the Gospels weren't written until several decades after the events of which those events in the Gospels were supposed to take place. And guess what? They didn't have pen and paper back then. They had parchment or vellum. So, guys, nobody was there jotting down word for word what Jesus was saying. I'm sorry. That's the truth, man. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting point. I mean, and I think it's pretty valid, honestly. So, I'm sorry to disappoint some of you people out there who love the Bible so much and think it's the inspired word of God, but I'm sorry. It just isn't.